So I met Minnie several years ago on the stand-up comedy circuit. She is a pocket rocket, like an absolute dynamo. I remember her being on stage with a guitar going, this woman has talent, has energy, has heart. She's amazing. And since we performed together and shared stages around Sydney, she's had a massive life shift. And I've been watching her go through this thing that she will be telling you about with utter awe and feeling just incredible inspiration. So please give it up for Minnie Minoru.
Thank you, Monica. Hello. Hi. My husband and I have been together for more than 21 years, right? And for the most part of it, we were really not interested in having children. It's not that we didn't like children. We love them. Most of them. But we always thought that when you become a parent, your priorities change. And we loved our projects, and we truly believed that we'd rather not be parents at all than be irresponsible or careless parents. Maybe it was COVID that slowed down our artistic projects, or maybe as we turned 40, we could really hear that clock ticking. But anyway, at a certain point, we looked into each other's eyes and we said, what are we doing here? If we're not going to, even to try to have a child, we're gonna regret it for the rest of our lives. Let's have a baby. We are ready. Life heard us and said, ready? It didn't even take us a long time to conceive, but at the morphology scan at 20 weeks of pregnancy, we found out that the baby had heart defects and a few organ abnormalities. And when she was 3 weeks old, we found out the final diagnosis. She has Kabuki Syndrome. You know, when you choose to become a parent, you know that your world is not just expanding. You are going to learn skills in completely new fields. Your brain is going to be rewired. Your whole set of priorities and responsibilities will shift to cater to the needs of a new life. Your world becomes a galaxy. But when you become a special needs parent, ogre, you enter the realm of a comic book multiverse. Those multiverses don't abide by the laws of physics, right? They don't have any scientific explanation, and yet you have to accept the premise that that's how it works, whether you like it or not. Like the Green Lantern. I know it's not the most popular comic book, but I like the story. And also green is the color of Kabuki Syndrome. So that's the comic book I want to mention. The ring of the Green Lantern makes you do incredible things, right? You become a superhero when you wear that ring. And you can move the mountains as long as you accept the rules. You believe in it, and now and then you go back home to recharge it with a lantern. So a mix between Santa Claus and a Tesla. In the same way, asking myself, why? Why did this syndrome have to happen to us? Doesn't really have any answer that makes sense. I have to accept the premise that my daughter has Kabuki Syndrome, even though as a condition it's pretty rare, even though my husband and I are not carriers, even though the chances of conceiving someone with this syndrome don't increase with the age of the parents, like Down syndrome, for example. Even though during my pregnancy, I have been the healthiest and most cautious mama on earth. It was a spontaneous genetic mutation, a lottery ticket if you want, a random occurrence that has absolutely no scientific explanation whatsoever, and yet that has complete reshaped our lives, our expectations, our identities forever. The complexities and the layers of a rare syndrome multiverse are so intricate that 10 hours wouldn't be enough to describe them all. I only have 10 minutes, otherwise they're gonna kill me. So tonight, I only want to focus on a specific topic, which is actually the Green Lantern's villain, fear. I have been scared, so scared for the past, 3 years really. I have been scared and perplexed at that morphology scan, which lasted more than 2 hours and a half. And they had to repeat over and over again, every time with a more senior technician, until the owner of the radiology center came, visited me, and concluded, your baby's heart has to be seen by a cardiologist in a hospital as soon as possible. I have been worried and scared throughout the rest of the pregnancy, as I didn't want to cause to my baby any further complications. I was worried and scared that her heart wouldn't cope well with birth, and that's why I insisted many times for an elective cesarean. But the medical team denied it. Girl, do you don't understand? It's so much better when you give birth naturally. Vaginal birth is always better than a cesarean, especially in the 1950s. So naturally, I got induced at 39 weeks. I ended up in labor for 12 hours with no epidural, and still ended up with an emergency cesarean. So I experienced the best of both worlds. Lucky me. I was so sad and scared when they immediately took her away from me to put her in NICU at the Children's Hospital, where at 8 days old, she got her heart surgery. And that, my friends, have been the most terrifying, the hardest day of my life. And I still remember it as if it was yesterday. Being in that corridor at the Children's Hospital, with her in one of those life support incubators, with all those doctors and nurses around us, with their operation theater scrubs, handing me a document that I had to sign, stating that they would have to reconstruct her whole aortic arch, and imagine her heart was the size of a walnut, try to fix 2 holes into different ventricles, and that I was accepting the chances of her dying on that operation theater table, and that those chances were double the standard mortality rate due to how complex her situation was. 6 hours of open heart surgery and bypass, where my heart stopped with hers. Every single muscle of my body was shaking. I couldn't rest, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't even talk. I tried to call my sister, but over the phone I could only cry and sob while she was repeating, "You have to be strong. You have to be strong for her." The surgery was successful, although it needed a fix with a heart catheter after a few months. But the first year of her life has been one fear after the other. One hospitalization after the other, one test after the other to try to figure out all her aspiration and reflux issues. And in general, the beginning of her life has really been a fight against a multiverse supervillain. And to this day, we're still facing lots of fears and uncertainties. Will she need a second open heart surgery, this time for the lung artery? And If so, when? Well, when is the hip surgery going to happen? And what's going to happen with her hearing loss? And what about her one kidney? Will she ever somehow become independent? And most of all, the question that no special needs parent wants to voice: will I outlive my child? Those and more are the questions that accompany me in my everyday life. And what the Green Lantern didn't get right is that many times willpower is not going to help you against fear. Because it doesn't matter how much you want things to get better. It doesn't matter how much you advocate, plan, organize, coordinate the efforts, look for answers. The life of a special needs parent is a roller coaster where most of the times you feel completely powerless. You live in survival mode and you witness your kid being dragged down by a syndrome that they didn't ask for nor deserve. Willpower will not supercharge you against fear. Love will. Love nurtures my soul every single moment I spend with my child. Love makes me patient every single time I have to drive her back and forth to the many weekly therapies in Sydney's traffic. Love makes me reach out and ask for help and find beautiful people who will do their best to listen and support us, even if most of the times they have no clue of what we're going through. Love between me and my husband is saving our marriage, because when we decided we were ready to become parents, we did not sign up for a syndrome. And yet we chose, and we are choosing every single day to cope with all the challenges and fears together. It's not an easy life, but it's definitely special and filled with love. And I couldn't be more proud of my daughter, who to me is the greatest superhero of all universes. Woo! Green Lantern, bite me. I will end my story now by addressing all of you guys. Please, every single time you encounter someone with disabilities or complex needs, please remember that most likely that day they had to recharge their ring many times to face yet again another villain on their path. And every time you listen to them, every time you help them and support them, you are going to recharge their lantern with love, and you will forever be one of the good guys in the multiverse. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Give it up for Lily's journey since her pregnancy, and I've been holding my breath the whole way. And I'm telling you, if you follow my Kabuki girl with a K, you will see what I mean. This woman and her husband and her daughter, unbelievable. Like, incredible, inspiring, amazing human beings. And personally, I believe souls choose their parents, and I think she chose you guys because she knew you guys would just have her back and just let her thrive in this world. So I believe she's chosen you, and I so appreciate you sharing your story with all of these amazing people. Give it up for me.